Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Tonight we're going to be breaking down last night's three-game NBA slate. It was crazy. And, I say that before in the beginning of every show. Oh, it was a crazy slate. No, this shit was fucking crazy. Somebody kidnapped Derrick Rose. AD was on his way to drop in 100 points, and he gets hurt. Melo gets ejected. I mean, this was a crazy-ass game. It was a crazy-ass day. It was a very crazy day, and I really hope you didn't lose too much of your buy-ins. I actually played very light today, and actually more than doubled my buy-in, but that was only because I didn't have any Derrick Rose, and I had a couple of decent plays in a few spots, a couple of which I got from the cats in the Facebook VIP, Karl Anthony Towns being one of them. But let's go ahead and jump into the regular formatting of the show. Of course, you know that I don't release a core 4 whenever there's 5 games or less. I think that is irresponsible of me to have you looking in a certain way at rostering a slate, and that's not what I plan on doing. I don't cherry pick on 5 game slates or less. I more or less like to stack. So that was where my head was at tonight, and that is what I did. First, before we jump into that, man, gotta give a shout out to the homie Works Cited. This is a guy who's a regular part of the sweatshop, man. Went out and had a very nice showing in the 200K crossover. Took down second place. That's 7.5K for the boy. So Works Cited, man. I'm glad you was able to get it in. He is one of the DFS sweatshop's own. So good job and good work for him. You are the king of the DFS sweatshop tonight. So very good showing there from you. We had a few other people, man. There's a lot to, but I'm just so excited. I'm raring to go to get into this 9-game slate tomorrow. I've been combing through stats. I just finished watching all 3 games from last night. So and I'm picking up a lot of different things along the way. Of course, we know about the DVPs and the usage rates and the per 36 minutes. But I've also just started getting into in depth into the Vegas lines on specific players. There are sites you can go to that you'll see the over-under on, let's say, Andre Drummond, the over-under on 12 rebounds. And you can see where the line is. You can see that a lot of people have their money on, in this particular matchup, Andre Drummond getting more 12 or more rebounds. Well, that's a precursor to what's going to happen. Because a lot of these folks are betting their money. They're in certain spots for a reason. So that's something else that you can add to your toolbox. That is something that we are definitely going to add to the DFS Sweatshop website. We are working on right now doing our advanced spreadsheets, our optimizing software, something that we're working on right now. We're looking at issuing something to everybody in the coming weeks. So it's definitely going to be done before the All-Star break. Definitely, without a doubt, this is going to be done, and we're going to be into it, deep into it, way before the All-Star break. So I'm very excited about those things. We're also just going to be doing little upgrades here and there. Once we get into baseball season, we're really going to go very hard. So I want this thing to be top notch. I want this thing to be top notch for you because you are first class people, and I thank you for rocking with the DFS Jerusalem. Now, like I said, I did not issue a core 4 on yesterday because, of course, it was a shorter slate. But what I did do was send out my stacks and correlation sheets. These are players that we target in our specific stacks. We know when we do stack, we look at first the point totals and then the matchups. And we want to find that medium between the highest point totals games and the best matchups in those games. And if you were able to do that, you definitely made your way across a very low cash line tonight. I believe it was about 260 on FanDuel maybe, and about 240 or something like that on DraftKings. So I had a pretty decent night, and we've got a pretty it's not as good as last week. Last week was a juicy week as far as games went, and I really felt like we were going to have a much better week than we did. We ended up in the positive, of course, which is always good, and it all came from that Monday we had when our core hits above 7.3x value. I think that's what it was. So the rest of the week we floundered, did not really keep the pedal to the metal the way we should have, but we're going to do our best to make up for that this week. Now, on Tuesday, we've got 9 games tomorrow. And then we're going to jump into Wednesday with 6 games. Now, 6 games is not bad at all. 6 games still give you that stack ability, but you're able to like cherry pick players, so you can on a 6 game slate you can stack an offense you like, but then still grab a few really nice one-off plays that you like. You probably will want to go at the most on a 6 game slate 3 deep at the very most on the team. A lot of 2-player combo stacks work really well on those 6 game slates. That's what we have for Wednesday. Um, Thursday we've got another 6 game slate. Friday it's going to be another 9 game slate, a larger one. Saturday it is a 5 game slate, and there's 1 game at 3:30, so that probably will not be a part of the main. So it's probably going to be a broken slate there. And then Sunday we're going to start with a 7 game slate. So we've got a pretty busy week ahead of us, man. No more this 3 game shit. So let's go ahead and jump into the featured 4 players on the night. These are the 4 most talked about, tweeted about guys in the DFS sweatshop, in the website, on Twitter. These are the guys that we all had something to say, whether it was good or for a bad reason. We're going to start with the Who Dat scoring all them points over there player tonight. And this goes to a guy that we talked about in last night's show. He was somebody that we highlighted, somebody who I felt was going to be a really nice play. I had him in a couple of lineups, and he definitely helped make up for some of the snowflakes that I saw on my lineup. But it's Dirk Nowitzki, man. 14% owned, went out 5.2K. So the price did creep up on him just a little bit, but this is still a Hall of Fame caliber player in his prime. He had 40.75 DraftKings points, a really nice game out for Dirk Nowitzki. The how did I miss that play tonight? This goes to a guy who I just never roster. I just don't roster him. I just don't feel like I didn't feel like his position on the team was as safe as he's proven that it is right now. We saw Chris Dunn was nipping at his heels, getting a lot more time in pressure moments in the fourth quarter of games. So I thought maybe he was at odds or something with the management of the team. But he went out tonight and had a really nice game. 17% owned, 5.4K. Ricky Rubio dropped a 50 burger, 51.75 DraftKings points, and that's why you, ravishing Rick Rubio, are tonight's How Did I Miss That Play tonight. The next guy we're going to talk about is it can only go to this dude, man. It can only go to this dude. The price that he was at, the things he was facing in the last few games, not really playing very well. The ownership he saw, 37%. Most of us were on him. A lot of us were on him, as a matter of fact. 8.9K. He goes out and comes second overall in DraftKings scoring. I'm talking about Karl Anthony Towns. 62.75 DraftKings points. Now, this was up against the DraftKings DVP against the center position was, I think, second ranked. So it was a bad matchup, so to speak, as far as DraftKings was concerned. But you try to tell Cat that he didn't give a fuck. He just balled the fuck out. Had an excellent game. 37% owned, 8.9K, 62.75 DraftKings points, came second all day in scoring, and that's why you, Karl Anthony Towns, get the salute. You are the heat check player of the night. Now, we must talk about that one motherfucker. You know, I'm not going to go too hard for a few reasons, okay? Number one, the guy's coming off a ticky-tacky injury, so I don't know if he was 100%. Number two, it seemed like the entire team imploded. I don't know if somebody kidnapped Derrick Rose or if he was somewhere holed up in a hotel with some crack and some hookers. I don't know what the fuck D Rose is going through. I hope he's fine, because I'm a Knicks fan. He's a Knick, so I have a certain amount of caring for him. Plus, I love people, so I hope he's okay. I don't know what the fuck's going on with him, but he didn't play. Then you got Melo getting ejected in the game. O'Quinn getting ejected in the game. I mean, this is just a horrible showing for the New York Knicks. It is a fucking embarrassment right now to be a Knicks fan. You motherfuckers been losing my whole life. I ain't never seen y'all last win. And not only is the dude I'm talking about a snowflake, but the Knicks as an organization, y'all a bunch of motherfucking snowflakes with y'all snowflakes ass. But tonight, we gonna highlight you, Chris Stapps, with your tall ass, 7'2", 7.4. You 7'4" and cost 7.4K. 18.5 DraftKings points. Man, that's all the fuck you could bring back? Bruh, your ownership was higher than your DraftKings score. That means you ran off on the plug with your old snowflake ass. I didn't like you anyway. I didn't have you anywhere. I thought you was in a bad matchup. I didn't think you could play well tonight. I was right with your snowflake ass. Tonight, you a motherfucking snowflake, and I ain't gonna roster your ass again. You know I love you, man. I'm going to see you on the 29th. Me and my lovely wife, we're going to make our way to Atlanta, and we're going to hope to see you play a great game, all right? But tonight, you a motherfucking snowflake. Let's go and get on with the rest of the motherfucking show. Snowflake ass motherfucker. Now, just because I'm raring to go, and all of the lineups were low, not a lot of people even hit 300 mark. You didn't even have to hit 300 in order to cash tonight. No, I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to show you my best DraftKings lineup. Fuck it. Just because this is the normal format of the show. I'm going to show you my best DraftKings lineup. Let's jump into it. It's going to be... Now, I was on a Russell Westbrook fade today, and that proved to really be, you know, a good thing for me, because I didn't play too many Westbrook. I had some Westbrook. I had him in one lineup here out of the 5 I put in, and this just so happened to be my very best lineup of the night. Now, started this lineup. This was a Chicago Bulls stack. This was once the news came out that we weren't going to see Jimmy Butler. Now, even though Jimmy Butler was cleared to play a little while before lock, I felt that I still did not want to roster him and that Dwayne Wade would be the play. But this was a Chicago Bulls stack with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And this is one of the lineups that I did have to have Russell Westbrook in. So let's take a look. Michael Carter-Williams started out horrible. Dwayne Wade played a nice game. Dougie McBuckets did not drop no buckets. Taj Gibson was a decent play. Andrew Bogut, that was a horrible play. Russell Westbrook snowflaked out on me. Karl Anthony Towns had an awesome game. He checked play tonight. And Enes Kanter had an excellent game. This lineup finished with 261.75 DraftKings points, which was good to cash in all of these tournaments. So I did have a profitable evening. A little bit more than double my buy-in. That's always good. I ain't crying about that at all. I'm happy with that. Now, let's go ahead and jump into a very quick recap of last night's games. We are going to start in New York, where my New York Knicks got their asses handed to them by the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, we're going to start on the Pelican side of the ball, man. Anthony Davis, how about him? Excellent game we saw from Anthony Davis tonight. He went out and had 40 points and 18 boards to go with 2 assists, doing all of this work in 28 minutes. That's not a ton of minutes. This is a guy who I believe he averages about, Anthony Davis, yeah. He's like 3rd in the league in minutes played. He averages 37 minutes a game. Didn't play a lot this game. He had that injury later on. We're going to check to see how that went. Pretty good game we saw from Buddy Hield. He had 11 points and 4 rebounds to go with 3 assists and 3 steals. Buddy Hield is now a thing. We can look to roster him as long as he is in the starting rotation. Tyreke Evans in his 21 minutes had 12 points to go with 2 rebounds and 4 assists. Pretty decent game there. We saw a really nice game from, well, at his price point, Donatas Montejunas. He did what he was supposed to do, man. 16 minutes, he had 3 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, which was decent on this small slate like this. You just needed somebody to score in some spots, and he was able to do that for you. Dante Cunningham stinked up the joint, 9 points and 3 rebounds to go with the steal in his 30 minutes, and not much else we saw. Pretty bad game we saw from Drew Holiday, man. 25 minutes, he had 9 points, 4 boards, 7 assists, and 1 steal, shooting 3 for 8 from the field. That is a nice 37.5%. Horrible. Hit 1 of 3 3-pointers. Not a good game from him at all. On the New York Knicks side, Carmelo Anthony only did play the 26 minutes. He had 18 points and 6 boards to go with an assist. Shot 46% from the field in that limited time. We only saw Kristaps for 23 minutes. The game was a blowout. He had 9 points and 4 boards to go with 1 assist. Not a good game for him at all. Brandon Jennings got the start in place of a missing Derrick Rose. And in 29 minutes, he had 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Shot 57% from the field and 4 for 9 from 3-point range. Pretty good game there. Didn't see too much else from anybody else on the team. I mean, Joakim Noah played 17 minutes and had 4 points and 10 boards to go with 2 assists. And you'd think he would have played more after Carlo Quinn only playing 20 minutes. But we just didn't see a major presence from the bigs in this game. It was just a horrible game. They were just outplayed from tip-off to timeout. It was over. The next game I'm going to talk about Chicago Bulls at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is another game that was over a little bit before it ended, man. Wasn't a good game at all. We didn't have to see much Westbrook. He played 33 minutes and had 20 points to go with 9 rebounds and 14 assists with a steal. Shot 50% from the field and 1 for 7 from 3. That wasn't a good three-point showing for him. Cam Payne was somebody who I was looking at. He only played 14 minutes and had 4 rebounds to go with 3 assists. Not a great game there at minimum salary. Pretty decent game we saw from Enes Kanter. Nice one. He double-doubled in 27 minutes. He had 20 points to go with 11 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1 steal. Good game there. Steven Adams had 20 points to go with 5 rebounds and 2 assists and a block in his 36 minutes while shooting 78% from the field. Pretty good game from him. On the Chicago side, Dwayne Wade was the only person who really had a nice game. Went out 22 points, 4 boards, and 6 assists to go with a block. Now, it was said that the reason why I was on Dwayne Wade like I was even though we knew that Jimmy Butler was going through his thing and may not be playing, or if he was going to play, may not have been playing very well, a report came out earlier that we all retweeted that said that definitely Dwayne Wade is not going to be playing Tuesday. So if they know he's not playing Tuesday, he's probably going to get a lot of enough minutes to really make value tonight or last night on Monday. That was a no-brainer. I had Dwayne Wade pretty much locked in all of my lineups, even after the Jimmy Butler news came out. Robin Lopez stank up the joint, had 3 points and 4 boards to go with a block in his 25 minutes. And Taj Gibson had kind of a decent game. The price point was very low on him, I think about 4.6K. He went out and had 9 points, 7 boards, and 2 steals to go with a block in his 20 minutes. Not a horrible game from him. Jimmy Butler, 28 minutes, 1 point, 0 for 6 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. Shot 0%. Got 1 point, 2 rebounds, and 7 assists. Horrible game from Jimmy Butler. Should have just took the night off. Next game we're going to talk about, and the last game on the slate, which was the ugliest game when it came to last night's point total review, but it ended up having the most fantasy goodness. This game was chock full of fantasy goodness. Let's start with Dirk Nowitzki, man. He played 31 minutes tonight. Now, I was projecting 26 minutes, 27 minutes. He played 31 minutes tonight. Had 26 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, went 8 for 16 from the field, and 5 for 10 from 3. So we shot 50% all over the board. Really nice game we saw from Dirk Nowitzki. Wesley Matthews, he didn't play very well. He had 2 points and 4 rebounds, scored 5 assists. Not a good game from him. Darren Williams also stank it up a little bit. 11 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal. Harrison Barnes dropped 30 points to go with 2 rebounds and 1 assist. Pretty decent game there from him. On the Minnesota side was where we really saw some great play, starting at the point guard position with Rick Rubio. He had 13 points to go with 5 rebounds, 15 assists, and 5 steals while shooting a shitty 3 for 9 from the field at 33%, 0 for 2 from behind the arc. If he has a better shooting game, he has an even better fantasy game. Karl Anthony Towns, 34 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists in his 37 minutes. Also had 3 blocks and a steal and shot 78% from the field while hitting 2 of 3 3-pointers. Zach LaVine, not a great game, but he did hit a lot of the stat marks. He had 5 points, 6 boards, 5 assists, 1 steal, and not a very good game shooting the ball. He went 2 for 7 from the field. And when Zach LaVine, who's actually leading the league in minutes, Zach LaVine leads the league in minutes played. And when he is not scoring, and you're watching him play, and you're looking at him on the court for what seems like forever, and you never see his fantasy points move, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why is this guy on the court so much and not producing? Something is going on with Zach LaVine. I don't know if I'm going to be able to roster him with the confidence that I had been earlier in the season. So, pretty decent game we saw from Karl Anthony Towns. We talked about him already. And Andrew Wiggins, man, he didn't play a good game at all. This dude played 35 minutes and had 13 points with 4 rebounds, 5 from 11 from the field, 0 for 1 from behind the arc. Not a good game from him. Gorky Jang kind of stank it up too. 12 points to go with 5 rebounds. Not a good game there. This was a crazy slate. It was just a bad night for basketball. It was a bad night to watch basketball. But we did hit the cash line running. That's all right. As long as we did that, everything else is going to work itself out. Now, let's go ahead and jump into a quick player pricing review. This is where we're going to jump into the DraftKings salary, see where everybody is priced, and either we're gonna automatically exclude guys from our player pool or add them to our player pool here. This is what we're gonna do. So let's go ahead. Excuse me, we live on the wrong side of the tracks. My apologies. Alright, let's go ahead and pull this up. Now, the first thing we're going to notice is that James Harden, most expensive guy on the slate at 12.1K. Now, that's not as bad as the 13 that we were just robbed of to roster Russell Westbrook. And I always tell you, when it comes to these high price guys, James Harden is about the only one. Well, not these, really just him and Russell Westbrook. James Harden is the guy that I would roster more often than I would Russell Westbrook. Take that how you want it. At home against the Charlotte Hornets, this game could be a really nice game. It could be, especially if we see Nick Batum, this could be a really nice game. And I do like James Harden, the 12th ranked DVP against the point guard position. I doubt that Kemba Walker's going to be checking him. I think that's probably going to be Nick Batum if he does play. I do like James Harden tomorrow at 12.1. We're going to need him to get damn near 75 DraftKings points in order to make value, so I won't be very heavy on him. But I think I can have a lineup or two with James Harden in him. Next play is going to be DeMarcus Cousins, who I really like. Now this says that the Detroit Pistons are second-ranked defense versus the center position, and I don't buy that when it comes to DeMarcus Cousins. This is a superior elite talent. I do like him tomorrow against Andre Drummond. I think it can be a really good matchup, especially if Rudy Gay plays. If Rudy Gay plays, that does put pressure on the Detroit front court, where we can see DeMarcus Cousins have a really nice game. Next guy we're going to talk about, John Wall, probably on the outset, just looking in right now, one of my favorite players on the slate for a couple of reasons. Now, if he has a bomb-ass game, goes off for 60 against Philadelphia over the weekend, that 9.9K is not going to be the price point. It's going to be higher. I like him right here, especially against Michael Carter Williams, hobbled Jimmy Butler, and Dwayne Wade we're not going to see. So I really think that him and a couple other guys on his team are going to be really solid plays tomorrow. I like John Wall. Kevin Durant is averaging 34 minutes per game. 34 minutes per game, and they're not blowing teams out against Miami. It could get out of hand because the game is at the Oracle, but I don't think that you can. I don't think you have to write Kevin Durant off. He may be in play for me as we look more towards what value may open up during the day. Giannis Antetokounmpo, we know that he was questionable with an illness, he was out with an illness the other day. He is still questionable. I think he does play tomorrow. If he does, I do not like that. 9.7 against San Antonio. I don't have to roster guys against San Antonio at that type of salary on a 9-game slate. I just don't have to do it, and I won't do it tomorrow. LeBron James, 9.6 against Utah. I kind of like that tomorrow. I do, because I think Utah can keep the pace of the game just slow enough to where the game stays close enough to where we see a lot of LeBron, a lot of love. You know, I like that. I definitely like that tomorrow. Jimmy Butler at 9.5. He may not play tomorrow. We're gonna have to check and make sure he's gonna be in. If he is, no, I don't like him. Isaiah Thomas at 9.1 against the Toronto Raptors. Fire him up. He's a player I really like tomorrow. Dame Lillard, 9K against the LA Lakers. Yes, give me some Dame Lillard tomorrow. Steph Curry is a no for me. DeMar DeRozan. If we see Avery Bradley back, I don't like DeMar DeRozan, but if Avery Bradley doesn't play, I think we can fire up the Lowry DeRozan combo. You've got Lowry here at 8.2. I like him against Isaiah Thomas. I think that's a really good play there. CJ McCollum is definitely a play at 8.1. Hassan Whiteside is a no for me at 8K. Kemba Walker, yes, I like Kemba tomorrow. Even though he's going to see a lot of Patrick Beverly, I still think we can get a decent game from Kemba Walker. I won't press the issue because the price is still up. It's 8K. I won't press the issue, but I do think that Kemba Walker is quite rosterable tomorrow. Kawhi Leonard is a no for me. Even though the price is at 7.9, I just don't think that we see 4 quarters of Kawhi Leonard. Draymond Green is in play at 7.8 for me. Paul Millsap, yes, I love Paul Millsap tomorrow at 7.8. Andre Drummond is in play for me at 7.7. Kyrie going up against George Hill. I don't think I have to go multiple players from Cleveland tomorrow. And if I had to go with a couple guys, it would be LeBron or Kevin Love. I don't think I have to go Kyrie tomorrow. Now, this dude is lightning in the bottle. I mean, he could go fucking slam off tomorrow. But I can imagine the point total is not as high as I want it. And this game, could be a little slower in pace. So I don't think that I will be taking Kyrie Irving tomorrow. Kevin Love at 7.6. The DVP says it's 7th ranked. I still like Kevin Love tomorrow. Dwight Howard, we can attack Boston at the center position. I like Dwight Howard. He's laid a couple eggs recently, so I can imagine a lot of folks are not going to be on Dwight Howard, but he's a play that I really think it can be a good one. I like Dwight Howard tomorrow. Julius Randle is in play for me at 7.4. And these two teams just faced each other a few days ago, man, and there was a lot of good fantasy scoring in that game. A lot of good. So I do like Julius Randle tomorrow. Jabari Parker is not in play for me. Reggie Jackson, yes, 7.2. Give me that. I like Reggie Jackson. The price has not caught up to his production yet. This dude is really going to have some good games this year. Goran Dragic, we can attack Steph Curry at the point guard position. They are 18th ranked against that position. And at 7.1K, I do like Goran Dragic. That is a nice price for him. Gordon Hayward at 7K is not a play I'm going to be interested in tomorrow. Neither is LaMarcus Aldridge. Nick Batum, he's questionable. If he does play, I like him at 6.9. Easily. Definitely. I like Nick Batum. This dude was just 8K. He was just 8K. And he's still that type of talent. If he plays tomorrow, I like Nick Batum. D'Angelo Russell is in play for me at 6.9 against the Dame Lillard defense. Rudy Gobert, 6.8 is a no for me. I like Dennis Schroeder against the Brooklyn defense, perimeter defense. They are one of the worst teams in the league against the point guard position. I think Dennis Schroeder will be a nice play at 6.7. Al Horford is a play I like at 6.7. He is very active, not only around the low block, but also in transition. And Jonas Valanciunas cannot keep up with this guy. I like Al Horford tomorrow. I think he's going to be a nice play. Brook Lopez is not in play for me at 6.6 against Dwight Howard. Klay Thompson is a play that I really like. I really like Klay Thompson tomorrow. I like Klay Thompson tomorrow. Rudy Gay, yes, to Rudy Gay at 6.5. Bradley Beal is a yes at 6.4. Tobias Harris, I like him at 6.3. But Rudy Gay is a solid defender, but he's going to be playing a lot with the second team if they're still starting John Lure. So I think I can give Tobias Harris a play. George Hill, yes, if he's healthy and he's fine. He is in play for me at 6.3. Otto Porter, yes, especially if we don't see Jimmy Butler tomorrow. Greg Monroe at 6.1 is a no for me. That price is a little too high up on him. That's a starting man's price. You got to be starting or be like an absolute beast. And he's not that good. He's not that good. John Henson just sucks. So I'm not going to be paying 6.1 for Greg Monroe tomorrow. It may come back to bite me. It may not. I don't care. Mason Plumlee, this dude is, anytime he's around 6K, he is a play for me. I like him tomorrow against the LA Lakers. I think that he can give Mozgov fits at the top of the key. I really like him tomorrow. James Johnson is in play for me at 6K. Dwayne Wade is a no for me because he's not going to be playing tomorrow. Avery Bradley, he was out last time, questionable. He may be able to play tomorrow. We got to check on that. Martin Gortat, he leads, I believe he leads all centers in minutes. He's leading every center. He plays more minutes than every center in the league. And for that reason, at 5.9K, to get that much usage on the court, I like Martin Gortat tomorrow. Eric Gordon is questionable. If he does play, I still don't like him. Marcus Smart. Now, I like Marcus Smart if he's starting again for Avery Bradley. The price is at 5.8. That's a really nice price there. Trevor Ariza is not a play that I'm interested in tomorrow. 5.7. Trevor Booker, we know he had an injury concern last time out. And against Paul Millsap, I don't like that too much at 5.6K. I just don't like that. Markieff Morris at 5.6. He is in play. He is definitely trending up. Pat Beverly is not a play that I'm interested in tomorrow. KCP, yes, he had a good game out last time. This dude scores and streaks. I like KCP tomorrow. Paul Gasol, 5.6. Believe it or not, I like that. The price is very low. I like Paul Gasol tomorrow. Tyler Johnson is in play at 5.5. Malcolm Brogdon is a no at 5.5. Montrezl Harrell, we can attack Charlotte rebounding the basketball. I like Montrezl Harrell at 5.3. Jay Crowder, yes, going up against DeMar Carroll, 5.2. I like him. Jonas Valanciunas, we can attack Boston rebounding the basketball. That's why I like Jonas Valanciunas tomorrow. Jeremy Lin is probably not going to play. Jeremy Lamb is in play at 5.4. That price isn't that high on him yet. If we don't see Nick Batum, and he does get another start. If the Nick Batum plays, I don't like Jeremy Lamb that much. Ryan Anderson, yes, 5.1. I like him. Al-Farouq Aminu is an excellent play. He actually got the ship righted against LA. That's where he had one of his better fantasy performances. So I do like Al-Farouq Aminu tomorrow at 5.1. Josh Richardson, He's not going to be playing tomorrow. MKG is in play for me at 5K. I like him. Marcus Morris, 5K flat. I like him tomorrow. Derek Favors is a no for me. Bojan had a really nice game out last time. This is the 25th ranked team against the shooting guard position. I think we can look to Bojan tomorrow at 4.9. Nikolai Mirotic is a no for me, except if we don't see Jimmy Butler. Clint Capella is out. We know that. Sean Kilpatrick is in play at 4.8. I like him. Carter Williams, no. Marvin Williams, no. John Lure, no. Rajon Rondo, no. I saw a report said he's going to be playing again. I don't care. I don't like Rajon Rondo at all. Taj Gibson, 4.7. The price is so low on that guy. I like him tomorrow. Darren Collison is a no for me against Reggie Jackson defense. Tony Parker, he could be in play at 4.7 if he does get the start. Luol Deng, no, I don't like him. Tim Hardaway Jr., 4.6. The price is up on him a little bit, but I still think he's usable tomorrow. Tristan Thompson is a no for me. Lou Williams is a no for me. Cody Zeller, if he does play, I kind of like him. If he does play, I like Cody Zeller tomorrow. Ty Lawson is a no for me. Kyle Korver, he may make his debut tomorrow. He may not. I'm not sure. Willie Reed, no. Doug McDermott, if he gets to start for him or Mirotic could get the start if we don't see Jimmy Butler tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. Kent Bazemore, of course, is dead to me. Alan Crabb, who had 30 points the last time they played out, I like him against the LA Lakers at 4.3K. That's a very nice price on the guy that can shoot the lights out. Maurice Harkless is a yes for me at 4.3. I like DeMar Carroll at 4.2 as well. We can definitely look to him tomorrow. Of course, we attack Boston rebounding in the basketball, so I definitely think we can look at him tomorrow. Evan Turner at 4.2 is in play for me. Thabo, yes, at 4.1. Amir Johnson is a no for me at 4.1. I don't like him. Swaggy P had a horrible shooting game out last time. I think that continues. I don't like him tomorrow. Brandon Ingram is a no for me. Kelly Oubre Jr., no for me. Garrett Temple, no. Rodney Hood. This price is so low right now on Rodney Hood. So low. They're at home. This could be a very nice bounce back spot for Rodney Hood. I really do. This guy, they're at home, okay? The better players on the team are not going to be guarding him. Like, he's not going to see LeBron. He's not going to see Kevin Love, you know? He's going to see DeAndre Liggins or some shit. Or maybe Kyle Korver plays. Who knows? I like Rodney Hood tomorrow. 4K, he doesn't have to do much in order to get that 6X. 24 points, he's 6X. I like Rodney Hood tomorrow. I'm going to have him in a couple spots. Terrence Ross is a no for me. Jordan Clarkson, yes, at 4K. I like him. Dion Waiters, I like him tomorrow at 3.9K. The price is very low on him. If we know he's going to get a full run of minutes, I like Robin Lopez, no. Frank Kaminsky, no for me. Matt Barnes, no. Danny Green, no. Marco Bellinelli, no. Aaron Baines, no. Shelvin Mack, no. Norman Powell, if he gets to start, yes. Manu Ginobili, 3.8 is a very interesting play. I kind of like that to ball up with the second team. Dellavedova is a no for me. Dwayne Dedmon had a really nice game out last time. If this game blows out, he does see extended run. I kind of like him at 3.7 as a value play. Andre Iguodala, he's always in play when you think that the Golden State Warriors are going to blow a team out. That could happen. Isaiah Whitehead at 3.6. If he does get the start, we like to attack Atlanta defense. Last time, Isaiah Whitehead got the start, and then they brought Dinwiddie off of the bench. That could happen again. Either him or Dinwiddie. Whoever starts, I kind of like them against Dennis Schroeder. And I also like Dennis Schroeder. We talked about him already. Ronnie Hollis Jefferson is a no for me at 3.6. Shane McClellan, 3.6, no. Channing Frye, no. Pat should be playing tomorrow. I like him as a deep sleeper. David Lee, no. Berso Televich, no. Sean Livingston, if you think the game's going to blow out, he could be in play. Jaja is still at 3.5. Give me some Jaja tomorrow. Yes, I like Jaja tomorrow. That's Spencer Dinwiddie, 3.5. Worst team in the league. One of the worst teams in the league against that point guard, shooting guard position. I like that. Justin Hamilton at 3.5 could be in play for us tomorrow, especially if we think this game get out of hand once we jump into the point totals, because they give him run. They sit Brook Lopez down immediately when the game is out of hand. And Justin Hamilton gets run. He does. Spencer Hawes at 3.5 is not a play for me. Iman Shumpert, no. Joe Ingles, no. Jaron Smith is out. Corey Joseph is a no for me. Kelly Olynyk is somebody who I like at 3.5 as a deep value punt play at that center position or power forward. He's power forward and center eligible. That's one of the reasons why I do like him. Bebe Nogueira, 3.5. If he does get the start, yeah. If he starts, yeah. We can attack Boston rebounding the ball. Karis LeVert at 3.4 could be a decent play if you think it's a punt play. If you think the game's gonna blow out, Ramon Sessions. Let's find somebody 3K that we really like. Let's find a 3K salary saver. Right? It has to be a really good situation. Derek Williams. Yeah. Randy Foy at 3K can be a really nice salary saving option if you were trying to pay up for your Harden or your Boogies. I like Randy Foy. He comes off of the bench with a nice spark, and he scores in a nice in a little streak. He could be a nice salary saving play tomorrow. Chris Humphries as well. There's Valentine. He's probably not gonna be playing tomorrow. Valentine, Trey Burke. So Redsky. It's not a lot down here in the 3K. Felicio, 3K, had a really nice game out tonight. Scored 30 DraftKings points. Something to look at. So yeah, man. Now we just dumpster diving right now. You're just dumpster diving. So let's go ahead and jump into the point totals. We do that so that we can get a really good idea once we've already established a player pool in our heads. We do that so we can have a better idea of how we're going to narrow that player pool to that maybe 5 guy per position pool, and then shrink that down to our core plays, our core 4 plays. That's how we do. That's why we do that. So let's go ahead and start with the first game on the slate. This is the Tuesday, January 10th edition. This is the Washington Wizards at home against the Chicago Bulls. Now, Chicago Bulls are on a back-to-back. Washington Wizards have a day of rest. Didn't see a really good game out last time from John Wall, but they did win the game. So I think that John Wall is definitely in a very rosterable spot right here. I don't think the ownership is going to be as high on him as it should be. For that reason, I do like John Wall tomorrow. Remember, if we don't see Jimmy Butler, that puts guys like that puts Otto Porter in play. We already talked already about Martin Gortat being the center who's leading the league right now in minutes, has more minutes logged than any other center in the league. You've got to like that at that price point that he's at. On the Chicago side, Michael Carter-Williams, he's going to be a cheap play, but not a play that I'm going to be very interested in. Dwayne Wade is not going to be playing tomorrow. We already know that. Jimmy Butler could play, but if he does play, I mean, look what happened tonight. I'm not fucking with Jimmy Butler. The price is too high on him anyway. I'm not doing it. Maybe we can look to Taj Gibson at the power forward position, or if Jimmy Butler does not play, we can go to Nikolai Mirotic or Dougie McBuckets, who had a really horrible game out last night. The next game we're going to talk about, the Atlanta Hawks at the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I like a lot about this game. Number one, and there was no point total yet for that Washington-Chicago game because we don't know the status of Jimmy Butler yet. Now, the next game is Atlanta going to the Brooklyn Nets to take on, going to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. That is a 214-point total with the Atlanta Hawks giving up 7 points. So the Brooklyn Nets are a home dog. I like that. Home dog. So that means we're going to get some spirited play from the Brooklyn side. And the Atlanta Hawks are going to go in knowing they're supposed to win. That could be a recipe to see some less loved guys on the Brooklyn Nets side play well. And when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about your Isaiah Whiteheads. I'm talking about your Sean Kilpatricks. I'm talking about your Spencer Dinwiddie's. We talked about Justin Hamilton off of the bench. But we can attack when it comes to the first teamers with both teams, we can attack Brooklyn at the center position. And I really like Dwight Howard. I really even like Millsap. But I think both of those guys can be excellent plays tomorrow. More so Millsap, because he's going to just do more. He's going to do more and be more involved. And I think they kind of got that hammered out because we were seeing a lot of usage pass through Dwight Howard's hands the first part of the season. And I think, something happened along the way, and Millsap was like, yo, this is my squad. This is my squad. We even had some trade talks going on for Millsap. There was some trade rumors and rumblings going on last week, but I think that subsided. I really think we can see a decent game out from Paul Millsap. He would be my favorite play, not only from the Atlanta side, but from this game in general. Of course, we talked about attacking the Atlanta point guard position. Definitely do that. Once we find out who's going to be getting started, whether it's Dinwiddie or it's Isaiah Whitehead, then you got to play that guessing game, or maybe we should fuck both of them and just bring in Kilpatrick off of the bench because he's going to see the most minutes out of all three of those guys probably. Next game we're going to talk about is a 218-point total with the Toronto Raptors at home, Air Canada Center, giving up 4.5 to the Boston Celtics. This is going to be a point guard duel, man. I think we can see some really good games from both point guards. I just have that feeling, that gut feeling, that both of these guys are going to have really nice games against each other tomorrow. I think it's going to be a shootout, so to speak, at the point guard position, and that is why I do like Isaiah Thomas as well as Kyle Lowry. But let's look at the Portland side, the Toronto side for just a moment. DeMarre Carroll had a really nice game out. I think that's going to increase his ownership. I think he's going to be outside of the single-digit ownership. I think he's going to be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14% owned because he's going to be so cheap tomorrow. And this slate is not as big and juicy as it seems. This is a 9-game slate, but there's some dud games on this slate or some head-scratchers that if you're a casual DFS player like most people are, you're not going to want to fuck with some of these games. You're not going to want to fuck with the Milwaukee San Antonio. You're not going to want to fuck with the Cleveland Utah. You're not going to fuck with the Miami Golden State game. Most of the action is going to be centered around 6 games. Trust me, I'm telling you. Most of the action is going to be around the Chicago, Washington, Atlanta, Brooklyn, Boston, Toronto, Charlotte, Houston, Portland, and LA, and the Sacramento and Detroit game. That's where most of the action is going to be centered around on this slate. I can guarantee it. So, it's up to us as more seasoned DFS players to find those gems. And those games is going to be less owned, or less people are going to be less involved in. Or we can play it safe and just do not get too cute and do the best we can to roster good players, develop a nice core, and to build from around that. And that's why I think DeMarre Carroll is not going to be a play that I'm going to be very interested in tomorrow. But he could be a decent play. But I'm not going to have him tomorrow. I'm just not. So now we do want to attack the Boston rebounding side. So I think Jonas Valanciunas is going to be in play. But at the same time, we've got Al Horford on the other side. And Al Horford is a really, really good play in this game too because he's just so active, in different spots on the floor. He's very good in the low post. He's very good at the elbow. He can pass. He can rebound and get out in transition and start the break. So if I had to choose between, attacking Boston rebounding or taking Al Horford, I would just take Al Horford. And I wouldn't attack Boston rebounding because there's no, bomb-ass rebounder that has that double potential, just waiting on the Toronto side. And we see Lucas Negrero get the start. Yeah, Jonas Valanciunas, I do like him. But this is going to be a really good game. This is going to be I'm calling this is going to be the best game on the slate tomorrow. On the Boston side, we don't see Avery Bradley. Definitely you can fire up Marcus Smart. He's also a really good defender, which is why I don't like DeRozan as much, although I think he can have a fairly decent game and maybe come close to making value, but not exceeding value. I also like Kelly Olynyk. We talked about him as a deeper bench guy. If we're paying up in other spots, I like him. This is going to be a good game. This is one of my favorite games on the slate. Next game I'm going to talk about is the highest point total we have on the slate. This is a 224-point total with the Houston Rockets giving up 9.5 points to the Charlotte Hornets. This game is in Houston. And for that reason, I'm not going to say, Kemba is a must-play, especially against Patrick Beverley defense. While I do think he has the goods to still perform well against Patrick Beverley, that's not a place. I'm not going to try it. I'm not going to, test Patrick Beverley's, defensive prowess. I'm not going to do that if I don't have to. If I don't have to, I'm not going to do that. It's a 4-game slate. Yeah, fire up Kemba. But I'm not going to test Patrick Beverley. I'm not. Why would I have to do that? The only thing that is intriguing to me is that it's a 224-point total, so the points have got to come from somewhere, right? The way this is projected has both teams scoring in the hundreds. So whenever that happens, how much of that usage goes to Kemba? But wait, most of it goes to Nick Batum. So if Nick Batum does play tomorrow, if he's healthy and he does play tomorrow, he's somebody who I really, really like. I think Nick Batum could be an awesome play tomorrow. I'm going to have him in quite a few lineups if I get the word that he's good to go and he is fine to play. We can attack Charlotte rebounding. You know that. We can do that one of two ways. We can go maybe Ryan Anderson, who's going to give us some scoring and slight rebounding. Or we can go Montrezl Harrell, who's going to give us a lot of rebounding, solid defense, and maybe some scoring at a cheaper price. That's why I like Montrezl Harrell if he does get to start. Well, even if he doesn't get to start, they might roll Nene out there and he'll play like 16 minutes. But we're gonna see mostly the young guy Montrezl Harrell really getting it in. See, this was a time where I would have loved if Clint Capella was still there and wasn't hurt. Damn. So Harden, yes, I like Harden. I think he's gonna have a really decent game. Does he hit that 6x value? At the 12.1 price point. I mean, I'm not so sure, but I'm gonna have him in a couple spots. I am. Like, there's times where I just straight up fade Russell Westbrook, where I just don't play him at all. There's never a time when I play a full slate of games where I don't have Harden in at least one lineup. He's just that good, and we saw that. I think I did have him in one lineup the night that he scored 103 DraftKings points. So I don't want to miss that again. So back to the Charlotte side of the ball. I think MKG is a decent play in this game too because he is a fairly decent rebounder. He doesn't have to score. He's going to do all of the little things to get those ticks on the stat sheet. So I do like MKG some tomorrow. Cody Zeller, if he is back, I like MKG a little bit less. But if Cody Zeller is back and he's full strength and he's ready to go, he's going to see a full allotment of minutes. He's somebody that we can look to as well. Just because this is a 224-point total, but we can have a lot. There's a lot that could be invested in this game. Next game we're going to talk about is the San Antonio Spurs at home against the Milwaukee Bucks. It's a 205.5 point total. I can imagine that we do see Giannis Antetokounmpo tomorrow. If we do, I do not like him. I don't have to do that. I don't have to roster people against San Antonio, and I refuse to do it if they're at home. And I feel like, because Pop is like the Belichick of fucking basketball. You're not going to be like one of the best, hottest players in the league and just walk into San Antonio and just be on the floor the best, hottest player in the league. He's going to find a way to shut you down some, slow you down some, and make the other players on the team beat you. And that rarely happens because they're the San Antonio Spurs, and they're probably the most well-coached team in all of professional basketball. So I'm not going to be testing them guys tomorrow. If I had to roster anybody, any one person from this game, it would be somebody like Tony Parker, somebody low risk, 46, 48K, something like that. 4.8K. He brings me back 25 DraftKings points. Cool. He goes ham and gets me 40. Oh, I'm passing everybody else. I'm not going to invest too much salary in this game at all. At all. Next game I'm going to talk about is a very similar game to the one we just talked about. It's a 202-point total. And by the way, that San Antonio-Milwaukee game is a 205.5 point total. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Cleveland Cavaliers going to Utah to take on the Jazz. This is a 202-point total with surprisingly a -3 in favor of the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz are a home dog. I like that. I like that. I like when you got a home dog in a close point total. I like that because that means I could see full run from the best players on the team. I like LeBron James tomorrow automatically. I like Kevin Love in this game. I don't like Kyrie as much. I think George Hill will be a decent play going against that Kyrie defense. And a lot of people are not going to be on this game because they see Utah. They're not going to be on this game. I like this game. This is a game I like. Also, I think, as a low risk contrarian play, because if he gets you 20, you're not gonna want to kill him. But he could go off 35. He could. And that's Rodney Hood. If he has a nice shooting game and plays well, and LeBron does what he does defensively to other players on the team. He shuts down Gordon Hayward some. They neutralize Rudy Gobert some, and somebody's got to score the points. And I like it. I think it could be Rodney Hood tomorrow. The more I talk about it, the more I'm talking myself into liking Rodney Hood tomorrow. You're gonna call me crazy until you see him drop the 35, 36, 40 DraftKings points. I kind of like him. He could go 10x tomorrow. I like Rodney Hood. And that's gonna come back. This is gonna come back to bite me or whatever. I don't care. But I like. Next play we're gonna talk about. Kyrie Irving. No, I just don't. I'm not big on Kyrie Irving, especially against George Hill defense. George Hill is a really good defender. I think that the game. I think this is probably one of the most accurate. One of the most accurate point totals on the slate. I think this game does stay close, for the simple fact that Utah's at home and they play very well at home. So I do like them tomorrow. They're gonna lose, but the game is gonna stay a game until the end. Next game I'm gonna talk about Miami Heat going to Golden State to take on the Warriors. The Dubs are giving up 15.5 to the Miami Heat. This game could very well be a blowout. 218 points, and a lot of people oh, it's gonna be a blowout. I can't roster anybody in a blowout because blah blah blah. You have to learn how to read that shit, man. You gotta learn how to read that shit. These cats are averaging 34 minutes. We're talking about Klay Thompson and Durant are leading the Golden State Warrior in minutes played, average minutes played. I like them both tomorrow. I like them both tomorrow. More because I play so safely. I like Klay Thompson even more than I like Durant. But they can both have really good games. I like them tomorrow. The guy that I don't like Steph Curry very much tomorrow, especially going up against Goran Dragic, who plays really good defense against the point guard position, which I do like Goran Dragic tomorrow to score. And if we do see Hassan Whiteside and he's back, he's kind of getting back to that full strength. I think the game could be a little closer than the 15.5 total. I mean, they could blow the doors off him, yeah, but I still think we see enough of Klay Thompson, we see enough of Kevin Durant to justify those salaries. So I will be taking a look at them. Also, Jaja Pachulia is somebody who I like as a very cheap center punt. We talked about him already on the Miami side. We're not going to see Josh Richardson. James Johnson is definitely in play in this game. Tyler Johnson is in play in this game. A lot of guys are not going to want to fuck with this, man. They're going to see the point total and be like, nah, they're going to run away from it. But seasoned DFS players, man, we know how to find value in these situations. The next game we're going to talk about is probably everybody's favorite game on the slate. A lot of people are going to be invested in this game. I'm not going to lie, I will be invested some too. It is the Portland Trailblazers at the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm telling you, my favorite play right now from this game, without a doubt, is Mason Plumlee. I love me some Mason Plumlee tomorrow. I think it's going to be a really nice play. What he does at the top of the key, being an integral part in the facilitating of the offense, setting picks, give his bodies up, rolls down the lane. And they're not like the dumbass LA Lakers that when a big man goes and sets a pick and runs down the center lane, they go stumbling and bumbling, Lou Williams shooting jumpers and shit without giving the man the ball who just put his body on the line and set the pick for you. Portland plays smarter than that. That's because the smartest player on this team, or the Portland team, is Mason Plumlee, a.k.a. the peach version of Draymond Green. I love him tomorrow, and that leads me to like a few of the guys, man. I'm telling you, you can. This is what you can do. And let me look around because I don't want nobody to really. This is what you can do. There's gonna be two different slates tomorrow. I'm gonna pull it up on DraftKings and we can check it out, right? And in fact, I'll pull it up so that you can see it because I'm gonna show you some shit. This is a pro tip. This is that pro tip shit right here. Check this out. Now you see the games that we discussed earlier, with the exception of the Charlotte and Houston game and the Boston game, are not really heavy point totals. They're not very high. It's not like, oh, if I don't get a piece of that Charlotte and the Houston game, I'm not gonna cash. Or if I don't get a piece of that Boston Toronto game, I'm not gonna cash. It's not like that. So I'm gonna show you something right quick. Look at this. Slate selection, slate recognition is huge, right? So we've got some really close games. In the late slate. If what the point totals are saying is true, we've got some really. Turn it off for a second. If what the point totals are saying is true, we've got some really close games in the late slate. We're talking about. We've got a 9 p.m. 4-game slate, right? We've got the 10:33 game slate. This would be the one I would target. We're gonna jump in here right quick. I'll show you something. All right. These are the games we have on the slate. We've got Cleveland, Utah, Detroit, Sacramento, Miami, Golden State, Portland, LA Lakers are in this late slate, right? The 9 o'clock slate. Make a lineup using just those games. Of course, enter it in that slate, the 9 o'clock slate. Make a line. Stack. Use our stack mentality when we do this. The stack mentality that we use on short slates in that 4-gamer. That if you make a lineup, just make it. And if you really like it, because you'll know if you like it when you see it. When you see the finished product, you be like, yo, this is a nice line. Throw that bitch in the main. Throw that bitch in the main. Man, how many times? How many times? And I spoke to my group about this. How many times have you made a lineup? You lost all day on a main slate, and you're tilting like a motherfucker. You're mad. Fuck it. I'm just gonna make a later or a turbo or something like that. You just make a lineup. You just make it, and that shit not only outscores the bullshit that you had earlier. If you put it in the main, it might have took down some shit, right? That's because when you made that later lineup, your player pool was so condensed that you had to find value in places that you're not going to be looking on a total 8, 10, 9 game slate. The totality of it, you're not going to see it. But when it's condensed and shortened and you have less places to go for error, that's when you make better lineups. So just try that for me. Try this for me, all of y'all. All 3,000 of you motherfuckers who watching this, all the family. Try this. Jump into the jump into the 9 o'clock slate. That's 4 juicy fucking games. We're talking LeBron, Kevin Love, the whole Golden State guys, Portland, LA game, Boogie, Drummond, Reggie Jackson. All of those guys are in that late or in that 9 o'clock slate. Make some 9 o'clock lineups and throw them motherfuckers in the main if you really like them and see what happens. Get back at me. I know what's gonna happen. I do it all the time. So. Where were we at? I'm sorry. I go on a rant every show, but just because I love y'all and I want y'all to win, bruh. I love y'all. I really do, genuinely, like from the bottom of my heart, and I want y'all to win because y'all are good people and y'all fuck with me. Y'all giving me a life beyond my wildest dreams, man. I'm getting to do what I love, and I'm also being able to provide for my family, and that shit is fucking dope. Thank y'all. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into one of my favorite games on the slate. It's gonna be the Portland and LA game. We already talked about Miles Plumlee. I like him. Randall's going to have a really good game out. Last time, this game was very competitive. These guys really fought tooth and nail for this game. And D'Angelo Russell had a nice game out. I think he can do that again against the Dame Lillard defense. I think Dame Lillard is back. He's fine. He's going to do a lot of scoring, have a pretty good game. We can also look to CJ McCollum. This is a very stackable game. If you're just playing in that 9 o'clock main, this is a very stackable game. But you can also make one out of the four games you talked about. Throw that motherfucker in the main and see what happens. Mozgov can be a decent play in this game at a very cheap price. We've also got Alan Crabb. We talked about him. He's kind of supplanted Evan Turner as like the go-to guy when they need scoring. So I definitely like him in some spots. Evan Turner is more of we're winning. I'm going to manage the game. And if you think the game's going to stay very close, Evan Turner will probably be a better play because he comes in as like, we're winning already. Everybody already did their thing. I'm just going to come in, dish out a few dimes, maybe score a couple shots, keep the lead, shit like that. So I like him in those situations as well. The next game we're going to talk about, and the last game on the slate, is going to be Detroit Pistons going to Sacramento to take on the Kings. This is another one, 206 point total. Sacramento Kings at home giving up 2 points to the Detroit Pistons. You gotta love the way Reggie Jackson can attack the Sacramento perimeter. I like him tomorrow. I really like Reggie Jackson tomorrow. I'm going to make quite a few lineups in this 9 o'clock slate and put them shits in the main. I am. And when we get the optimizer software on the website, you can make that shit in there and then upload it and do it yourself. It's coming, baby. It's coming. It's takeover. DFS Sweatshop. So, back to the game. Reggie Jackson, the player I really like. I think KCP is going to be a very nice play in this game as well. We can also look to Andre Drummond because centers can score against Boogie. It can happen. It can definitely happen. The only thing is, see, these teams are very similar, except Detroit has more of that team-oriented thing where there's no one man is like bigger than the team, and that's the problem with Sacramento. We all know Boogie is like the biggest fucking deal on the team. And sometimes his antics overshadow the team playing well. And the only guy that kind of like gives balance to that is Rudy Gay. So Rudy Gay would be my favorite play from the Sacramento side. The price on him is really good in comparison to what we have to pay for Boogie. Even though I like Boogie, I think Rudy Gay would be a lot more cost effective on tomorrow's game. We can look to none of the Sacramento perimeter. I don't like any of them. I don't like Lawson. I don't like Collison tomorrow. I don't like Temple. I don't like any of those guys. I don't because it's hard to pick which one is going to have a decent game because they all suck so bad. So why even go through all that when you know you've got solid point guard plays already on the slate, raring to go? Yeah, you might lose out to the ownership battle if somebody else picks one of those guys, but he does play well. But if you're smart enough to tell me which one of the motherfuckers from Sacramento gonna go off tomorrow, hey, hats off to you. You deserve it. Boogie, we talked about him. I do like him tomorrow. I think against Andre Drummond, he does. How many games against Andre Drummond? DeMarcus Cousins against Andre Drummond, 23 points and 12 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1.7 blocks. Pretty decent there. Pretty decent. So I think we can look at him tomorrow. And Dame Lillard against D'Angelo Russell, 26 points a game, 3 rebounds, 7 assists, 1.1 steals. Pretty decent there. So we've got some really solid matchups, man. Isaiah Thomas against Kyle Lowry, 17 points, 2.3 rebounds, 5.4 assists. But this is like his coming out season. He's played a lot better than this year. So I think we can not. That got that from StatMuse. I think we don't have to worry about that one. I like Isaiah Thomas tomorrow. And so this has been your DFS Jerusalem. Do not forget the advice I gave you about making that 9 o'clock lineup and throwing that shit in the main, bro. Do not forget that. I am your DFS Jerusalem. Thank you so much for the support you've given the show, the new website, on Twitter, Facebook, everything. It means a great deal to me. If you would like to support the show further than you already are, because you are doing the most purest form of support by giving me a voice, watching the show, tuning in, waiting for it to come out. Shit is crazy. Shit is crazy. And I love it. Thank you so much. You can definitely hit up the personal PayPal at simmonsmaurice95@yahoo.com. You can copy some DFS Sweatshop swag, baby. 300 Club, Sweatshop. They coming. They on the way. You can cop some. You can order them. The link's going to be in the description to the video. Definitely. Get it done. You can also become a real member, a full-fledged member of the DFS Sweatshop by going to the website at www.dfssweatshop.com. Log in there, register. You're going to get everything that we're going to be offering. And I want you to get in now. There is a monthly subscription fee. You can also pay for it yearly if you like to. It's definitely a fraction of the cost of all the other sites. There you're going to be getting our cheat sheets, our DBPs, our player pools, our strategies, my core 4 roster building strategy. You're going to get everything, bro. It's a really nice setup for you, and it's 50 cents a day for a month to month. Really good deal for you. Also, just want to thank you all for being so supportive, man. It's been a really wild ride already since December 2nd when the site went live. We are booming. Things are really taking off, and I definitely appreciate all of you for everything that you've been doing. The number one thing that I would love for you to do here in the DFS Sweatshop is roll with me, and let's keep it 300.